Hey, what's going on? This is Nick LS, and today I'm going to be showing how to ride a motorcycle. So if you are a beginner or new to riding or even looking into getting into motorcycles, this video is for you. It's best to get on the bike from the kickstand side. So grab the handlebars, swing the leg over, bring the bike up, and go ahead and straighten the handlebars. And you can go ahead and put that kickstand up. Cool. Now that we're on the bike, we need to start it. How do we do that? Well, we turn the key to on, kill switch, and then power. Awesome. Now that the bike is on, we need to pull in the clutch and kick the shifter down into first. Once we're in first gear, we can slowly let out the clutch and move through the friction zone. Now, this is the hardest part about riding a motorcycle, is mastering the friction zone. And if you don't get it on your first time, that's completely fine, okay? It just takes time and practice. It's easier to go through the friction zone if you give it a little throttle. So you're feeding the bike a little bit. That's gonna make you kill the bike less. So let's demonstrate that now. Okay, so I'm in neutral and then clutch in and kick down into first. We're in first gear, so now I can slowly let out the clutch and give some throttle. Turn the bike. Cool. So now that we're moving through the friction zone, we're in first gear. Now we're riding. What do we need to do? We need to put our feet up. We don't want to be doggy paddling at all or like touching the ground occasionally. Keep those feet up. You're going to learn balance as time goes and you learn the motorcycle. Okay? Well, now it's time to go faster. So we have to give it some throttle. You see? After I let out the clutch and went through the friction zone, I gave it some throttle. So that way we're going faster. Well, now that we're going faster, we need to upshift. How do we upshift? We roll off the throttle, we pull in the clutch, and then we kick up on the shifter. After we kick up, we let out the clutch and continue to give more throttle. So, the concept of upshifting seems easy and pretty straightforward. It's a different thing when you apply it out on the road. It's going to take time to learn when you need to shift. Okay? When you shift, personally, I do it by sound. You're going to hear when you need to shift. Now, for the Ninja 400, I know the stock exhaust is quiet. So, I have on an aftermarket Leo Vince LV10 slip-on. That wakes the bike up and it makes it easier to hear when you need to shift. You can also tell by RPMs. I personally shift in the 6,000 to 8,000 RPM range. That is a pretty average, smooth ride for me. If you want to be more aggressive with it, you can definitely shift in that, 10 to red line range. Yeah, it's all riding style, personal preference. Okay. Another way you can tell is speed. When I'm going from first gear to second gear, I'm usually in, 20 to 25 miles per hour. And then to go into third, it's probably like 35 to 40. So that's me personally. You'll find your range as you find your riding style, okay? So now let me demonstrate an upshift from first gear to second gear. See, it just takes time and practice. Again, what I did was I was giving it some throttle. We're going faster. Now we need to upshift, roll off the throttle, bring in the clutch, kick up on that shifter, let out that clutch, and continue to give throttle. Okay, so that's going to allow us to go faster speeds. The point of upshifting is to go faster. You can go faster speeds in higher gears. Awesome. Well, now that we're going faster, we continue to go from second to third and even higher. Well, let's say we want to slow down. How do we do that? we downshift. Downshifting is essentially the same thing as upshifting, except we're kicking down on the shifter. So we're rolling off the throttle, we're bringing in the clutch, and then we're kicking down on that shifter, and then we can let out the clutch. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that now. So there we go. There's also another way to downshift, and this is a little bit more complicated. This is after you've learned the bike a little bit more, but that's called a rev match. And when we rev match, it is 3 actions but 1 motion. Okay, it's clutch, blipping the throttle, and then kicking down on that shifter. Okay, it's 1 motion. It's just boom, boom. Okay, this is a smoother downshift and it's more effective. There is essentially no engine bogging. That's a whole nother video of itself. I do have a video how to downshift on my channel. If you want to check that out, I will put it down in the description. So personally, I rev match when I downshift, but for this video, we'll just show the original downshift. Cool. Well, now that we're slowing down, we need to come to a stop. How do we come to a stop? Well, we're going to use our brakes and our clutch. So again, we have 2 brakes. We have our front brake and then our rear brake. We're going to use those brakes at the same time, except our front brake is 70% of our stopping power and our rear brake is 30. So what we're going to do is we're going to again brake at the same time. And then as we're slowing down, then we can pull in our clutch, which kills the power to the back wheel. Once we pull this in, our bike is not going further. It's not getting pushed by that back wheel. Again, braking, and then as we come to a stop, we put our left foot down first and then our right foot. That's one variation of stopping. That's the way I stop. I feel like I'm in more control. I have better balance. But another way you can stop is just by keeping your right foot on that brake. You don't have to put it down, you can keep it on the brake. And that's helpful if you're on a hill or something too. That's also a helpful piece. When you come to a stop, you might be in first gear. That's okay. You can change your gear into neutral after you come to your stop. And to find neutral, it is a half a click up from first or a half a click down from second. I can demonstrate that now. Okay, so we're in first gear. What I do is I pull in the clutch and then I half a click up and then it's neutral. It doesn't matter how you start the bike. You can start it in first. At least on the 400, you at least have to have the clutch pulled in and then hit the power. But if you're in neutral, you can just press the power button. It's personal preference, but I think neutral makes more sense to start out with. And also, whenever I'm done riding, I always leave my bike in neutral because then you can move it freely. If you're in first gear, you're going to find that you're stuck, you're locked in. Okay, so now I'm going to put it all together. I'm going to start the bike up. I'm going to go through the friction zone, upshift, downshift, and then come to a slow and controlled stop. So I'm going to turn the bike around and then we'll do just that. All right, so we're going to start new. We're going to start with the bike totally off and then we'll do our process. There we go. And that is how we ride a motorcycle as a beginner. If you found any of this video helpful or enjoyed any part of it, please click that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and a like on the video. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.